Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's video on the wonderful, exciting world of DNA. And on this video, I'm going to look at 3 different companies with my DNA results, compare them again for you, and talk about that. But I'm also going to talk a little bit of news for you as of September 25th, 2020, when I'm doing this recording. I'm going to scan some news for you on the DNA world. And I also had some requests to do an Ancestry.com download of DNA so you can upload that to other services for free. A lot of people don't know that you can do that. You're certainly able to pay for each service if you want, but why pay for it when you're going to get your ethnicity results for free from probably 4 or 5 big companies with DNA? And I'll have that on an upcoming video, so please hit like and subscribe to my channel. Let's go right into the news here, DNA news for this week. This one comes from Tucson, Arizona. It says, privacy fears rising as DNA test companies shift to new ventures. And let's see what it has to say here. As genetic testing companies increasingly pivot to medical and pharmaceutical ventures, a regulatory gap in consumer privacy protections is drawing calls for change and even legislative proposals. And we hate those legislative proposals because usually adds a lot of red tape and things that you're not going to be a fan of. Reading on a little bit here, at-home DNA test kits from companies like 23andMe and Ancestry have enabled customers to trace their heritage and piece together family trees. A lack of strict data privacy protections has allowed these companies to rack up hundreds of millions in revenue through the collection of DNA samples and sales of genetic data, all with the consent of customers who may not have read the fine print. Now, I agree with that. Some of these companies are making it so easy for you to upload your DNA to their databases, and there's several reasons for that. They want to increase the amount of tests that they have on the site so your matches increase, obviously, but there may be another ball in play, so to speak, where they're selling this information to different companies. Maybe anonymously, but certainly it stands to reason that they could make a lot of money off of your data. All right, let's move into the part of the article where it raises up around Ancestry's recent purchase here. Earlier this year, private equity giant Blackstone acquired Ancestry.com for $4.7 billion, raising speculation about what Blackstone was up to. In a statement to Fair Warning, Ancestry was unequivocal. Blackstone will not have access to the Ancestry customer data, nor will any of their portfolio companies. But in the acquisitions announcement, Ancestry President and CEO Margot Giordatis said that the company expected to collaborate with Blackstone on, quote, bringing to life our long-term vision of personalized preventative health. Blackstone has also invested heavily in medical devices for diabetes patients and treatments for high cholesterol and kidney disease. So you have some information there. You can read the article, go to TucsonSentinel.com and read this article on privacy fears rising as DNA test companies shift to new ventures. And it's nothing really new, but it's companies that are expanding, getting bigger, basically expanding their test kits to more people. Okay, I think that about covers what I want to cover in the news for this week. And let's jump on over to MyHeritage site. These are the results of MyHeritage for my specific ethnicity estimate, and I think this is one of the better ones. If I had to pick one, and of course, Ancestry has been one of my favorites and probably my favorite over the past 5 years with this. I uploaded to MyHeritage probably a year and a half ago or two, and like I said in the beginning of the video, for free. So this is how they break down my ethnicity: 91.7% Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, which could include part of northern England. It does sort of shade to that section of the world, which I have some relatives from. So I would have to say, without them mentioning the England, I think this is a pretty fair estimate. 6.3% Finnish, and that I can also collaborate with my ancestry tree that I've done. And those folks came over back in the 1600s, so it's amazing that Finnish is really so strong still with my readout with them. Now, Italian, 2%, very interesting. This could be what I would call ancient ancestry, because I cannot find anything within my great-grandparents, maybe even great-great-great-grandparents that relates back to Italy or Italian. So now if I go back further than that, I have some notions to go on where this Italian may have come up, but I'm thinking that this is part of some sort of an ancient type of DNA result for me. So there's my MyHeritage readout. They have a nice colorful site here. They'll give you a map to see visually where the primary concentrations are. As you can see here, Ireland and the United Kingdom are basically all encompassed in this area, and I would say that is close to being correct. Finland as well, and this has got me interested. Italy, some Switzerland in there. It's very interesting. And now on my next company I'll show you is 23andMe, and some of the information from MyHeritage is showing up at 23andMe. British and Irish, 81%, 81.3. Okay, my European, 99.9% European. Now, as I said in my other video of a week or 10 days ago, I want to know where that 0.1% went. French and German is what they're calling 8.1%. So that deviates a little bit from what I've encountered so far with different companies. But it's actually even naming some areas where people apparently are matching me with some highly likely matches here. In the Bordeaux region of France, Paris, which I've always been attracted to. I've been there several times. And for some reason, I've always wanted to go to England before I knew I was English, and Paris. So maybe it was a calling. I don't know. I'm sure probably a few of you out there have experienced this as well. Something just seemed to draw me to this area for no reason, even as a young adult of maybe 20 to 21 years old. I just had a yearning to go out and see the world in certain areas. All right, so that's the 23andMe. So you're seeing a little lapping over with these numbers. You have the Scandinavian here at 0.4% and broadly Northwestern European 10.1%. So that's up in this area as well. So again, numbers are pretty good, updated as of last year around this time, 1 year ago. And it'll be interesting to see if they update it again for this year. Okay, they also have a scientific details tab there where you can read all about how they determine using their algorithms and composition guides or white paper, so to speak, for more details on how 23andMe assign your DNA to different ancestries. And this is a full picture of the world here, and that's where they are mapping people at. So they're saying all 224 tested populations are represented in my readout here specifically. And here's some more different countries here, the French and the German. I had some matches. Not so sure that represents my true heritage of my great-grandparents, but certainly bears more research. All right, moving on to Ancestry DNA. Of course, we covered this a couple videos. Nothing has changed. 88% Ireland, 6% England, and Northwestern Europe. So as you remember, on 23andMe, it was about 10 or 11%. So, yeah, that's acceptable. Two other regions is what they have for me here. Swedish and the newly added 2% Scotland. I've never had Scotland just by itself because I don't believe they ever had it by itself. Now this is new right here as of this week. Last week during the video this was not here, and it's saying Ulster, Ireland. I have a possible ancestor found from Northern Ireland here, and let's see exactly what that encompasses here. Northern Ireland, possible ancestor found. Let's click on it and see what it says. Ulster, Ireland. You and all the members of this community are linked through shared ancestors. You probably have family who lived in this area for years and maybe still do. I think that would be very, very possible. And it has some matches. Of course, my great-grandmother was from Ireland, I believe in the northern part of Ireland here. So using my family tree, this is correct. Now whether or not the DNA reflects it, which it does in these three people, they're sharing the same DNA as me. It's sort of leading to the fact that yes, I do have relatives from this area. And if you've ever researched Ireland and Irish ancestry, it's very difficult sometimes to get to the records. And here is where I have my great-grandmother from in this northern part of Ulster. And apparently I have other people that are related to me that live in Northern Ireland. How about that? All right, well, I hope you liked this week's video of exploring DNA. It's a fun topic. And as I said, watch my channel and hit subscribe. You'll have notifications of all my videos here on YouTube when I have a new one out. And I will be having one on how you download your Ancestry and upload it to other sites. I'm going to try to do that this weekend, so please tune back in. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and thanks for subscribing as well.